Before you listen to today's episode, I want to share that our popular Box Business Plan workshop is now available anytime, anyplace. Yep, literally at boxbusinessplan.com. It's a simple 5-day guided program that will walk you through quick, actionable training delivered via a private podcast, along with submitting a daily questionnaire. At the end of 5 days, you'll have a completed business plan for your new subscription box. It's a fun format, won't take tons of time, and it will totally check a huge item off your to-do list. Get the details and enroll at boxbusinessplan.com. So, you want to launch a subscription box and don't know where to start? Girl, you are in the right place. I'm Julie Ball, a subscription box coach and your host here at Subscription Box Basics, a podcast for new and aspiring subscription box entrepreneurs that want to avoid overwhelm. So grab a coffee, some pen and paper, and let's have some fun. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Subscription Box Basics. Today, we are talking about Instagram Reels. Love them or hate them, they are here to stay, and they play a big role in your marketing. And so this is definitely not my zone of genius. So I brought my friend, Mandy Emerson, onto the podcast. She is an Instagram coach and strategist. She helps female entrepreneurs grow their business using Instagram. And get this, you guys, she grew her audience to more than 90,000 followers collectively just using Reels. And she is going to give us the scoop today. Welcome, Mandy.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on your podcast. So thank you so much.
Yes. And guys, if you haven't heard of her podcast, I was just on her podcast as well. So we did a little podcast swap. If you want to hear the story of how we met, you need to go check out her podcast. Where can we find that one?
The Fierce Social Podcast on all podcast listening
all
platforms.
The players.
All the places. It's everywhere.
Awesome. Okay. So many of my listeners don't know you already. So let's start there. Do a quick introduction of yourself.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So like Julie said, my name is Mandy Emerson. I'm an Instagram coach and strategist. I actually have a background in theater performing. I used to be in musical theater. I grew up a singer. I was also on cruise ships before I moved to the Midwest. I met my husband on a cruise ship. That's like a whole nother story for another day. I know it's so fun. I'm going to pitch it to Hallmark someday. Hopefully they'll pick it up. Yes. But, which ultimately brought me to the Midwest. I kind of really condensed version. I kind of lost my identity a little bit because I had been a performer and singer for so long, and then I wasn't doing that. I did find another love within cosmetics and makeup. I've always loved that. I actually discovered that while I was on cruise ships. Started working in the cosmetic industry. Then I started learning more and more about social media. And it was always into social media. So that was always in the background with content creation, very specifically YouTube. I did like makeup tutorials on YouTube, which a lot of people actually don't know that about me. I just dove right into it. I was the most unqualified, but here I was like, this is how you contour. I've never done this a day in my life. It was an absolute joke, but it was so fun. I loved doing it. But that really was the start of my love for video content. So when the pandemic happened, I unfortunately lost my position with the cosmetic company that I was with, but it was really just this silver lining of, okay, we're going to do the social media thing. We're going to just go for it. And I just like threw spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. I was talking about makeup and beauty. I was talking about some Instagram things because I was very much in market research and educating myself on how I could use this platform to grow an income. So I was learning all of this myself to use for myself, sharing it. I was also sharing newlywed advice. Again, like, I don't know who I think I am trying to give advice on things that I don't have that much experience in. I was just trying to speak from things that I knew. Those are the things that I was currently experiencing. I was a newlywed October 2019, which is crazy to think that like I got my wedding in before the craziness of 2020. Right before it. It's crazy. Divine timing, I tell you. But my love for video content creation really played a factor when Reels came in the game. And it was just like, it was already in my wheelhouse. So I was one of the early adopters of that new feature. Even though TikTok had been around, I knew that Instagram was going to come into the playing field. So I was like, I'm not going to try and go learn another platform.
I don't blame you.
I'm just gonna wait until Instagram comes out with it because I know they're going to. They did. I was an early adopter. My reach, my exposure like skyrocketed. And so did my business of being an Instagram coach. I quickly found out people need help growing a following, an audience, an influence. And I found my little niche within female entrepreneurs. I found a love for growing a business. I have a couple businesses myself. So now I feel like I'm a serial business owner. I just love it. It's so
welcome to the
fun.
club.
It's just so stinking fun. So really that's my background. Is quite like a windy road, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. But Reels has been quite the contributing factor to my growth, big time for sure.
Nice. And then you have a membership based around that, right?
Yes. Yes. So I launched a membership in January of this year. Really is my everything framework. I call it my FSS framework, which is the Fierce Social Society. That is my framework for using Instagram to grow your business. These are like the absolute bare basics that I think a lot of people skim over because they're so enamored with virality and having the next like viral reel and, doing what all these bigwigs are doing. And what needs to happen is the actual basics of marketing and business strategy, not what's the next viral trend or what sound can I hop on or what like dance challenge can I do? That's not a strategy.
Right.
And and I'm trying to help contribute to, let's just get these bare bones down.
Yeah.
And then you'll be good to go. And then you got this solid foundation. So that's really what the membership is centered around, having those basics, that really strong foundation so that you can use Instagram with confidence when building your business.
Okay, so let's dive deeper in that. Like, I know that some people listening are going to have their arms crossed saying, well, why should I use Reels for business? I'm not a performer, so let's talk about like, why should we even use Reels?
I love that you said too, I'm not a performer, because I do get that question. And the first thing I want to say is like, there are a lot of people that aren't performers that are just like killing it on Reels. So no, you do not have to be like this perfect whatever on Reels. People want real and authentic, and they just
there's your permission slip, right?
Humans. Yes. And the reason that you want to be using Reels or any type of video content, any type. I mean, I hope Instagram's not listening to me because I love you so much, Instagram, but any kind of video content, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or Pinterest with pin ideas, video marketing content is the way of the future, whether you like it or not. And I really want you to like it because it's really fun when you get in it, but the exposure is just like exponential. It just is the way we're headed. Doesn't mean that you can't grow without it. There's plenty of businesses that are not doing it. But hot dang, is it really fun to do, first of all? But the exposure you're getting, the organic exposure you're getting is like bar none to what we used to have to do with those static photos and, all the other things that we were doing on the side. Now with video content, you're not only reaching more people, but like you're getting even more business than you were before.
So the algorithm is rewarding you when you play with video, right?
Yes. The algorithm, or I always like to equate it back to cosmetics because I love makeup and that industry. But you think about when a cosmetic company comes out with a brand new product, they want to feature people wearing that product. They're not going to go, from time to time, they're going to say, oh, we got this hidden gem and don't forget about her. But check out this brand new lipstick we just came out with. The color is this, the feature is this. It does. They want to feature because they want it to be successful. So any new feature that comes out with Instagram, I highly encourage that you just hop on it. Don't ask any questions, make it really messy because Instagram's going to push you out further than everybody else.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I know the first few Reels, like I've got a bunch of Reels, not like anything that went viral, but like some, you could tell at the beginning, I'm just testing it out and I got better and better. I'm not saying I'm great at Reels by any means, but I just I've said this before on my podcast, like I lowered my bar and I'm just like, you know what? Done is better than perfect. Let's just go for it. So yeah, don't be scared. And but I have to say though, too, like as a marketer, you have to go where your customers are.
Yes.
So
Meet them
like,
where they're at.
exactly. So when you were talking about just like video marketing in general, maybe it's not Instagram, maybe it's Pinterest, or maybe it's YouTube.
Yeah.
So you guys, when you're listening to this, make that decision, but think about it from a video perspective too.
Right.
But
Right.
I know Instagram's your jam. So let's talk more
Yes.
about that and tell us like
Okay.
what type of reels are doing well right now. As we're recording this, this is
Yes.
the end of April 2022.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad you asked this question because I'm so excited about my answer for it. Because
Good.
there has been such a strong shift in what's working on the app, and it's great news for everybody.
Oh,
So if
good.
you are
Bring it.
not a fan of like the pointing reels, pointing at things on your screen,
Ugh,
you feel like
yes.
a goof.
Mhm.
I like them. I think they're kind of funny because you're like, yeah, yeah, it's almost like a music video, right? Like I get into that stuff, but I understand that's not everybody's jam. It's fine.
Right.
Dancing challenges, crazy transitions, even lip syncing. If those just are so aggravating for you, I have the best news for you. The content that is doing the best on this platform right now is speaking, is you talking to the camera and storytelling or educating. It's just you talking. It's original content that is what's being pushed out even further and even more more solid. What am I trying to say? How I can solidify this is Adam Mosseri came out with a video recently and said they are going to be prioritizing and ranking original content over everything else. Does not mean to stop making, the lip sync ones or the transition ones. If you enjoy making those, I still encourage you to do that because you can still add value with those types of reels
And connect,
original.
and
Yes,
relate.
exactly.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And you can make people laugh with some of those
Mhm.
reels. Like I love to make people laugh with lip syncing ones. But the original content, what it comes down to is Instagram wants to make sure that they are prioritizing their creators, which I'm all for it. I mean, if you guys are busting your butts to work your business, make content, all the things, you should be getting the credit you deserve. And it comes down to just that original content of you just talking to your phone, talking to the camera.
Mhm.
So if you don't like all the other things, great news. Now all you got to do is say, hey, want to learn how to do this? I got 3 tips for you. Boom, boom, boom. Those 3 tips. Check the caption for details or check the link for my newest whatever. That's it. That's what's getting pushed out to
I love
people
that.
even more. Right?
Okay.
Isn't that so exciting?
Let's shoot from the hip here real quick. So
Okay.
everyone listening is going to be a new or aspiring subscription box business owner. So we could have a video of an open box and say, my favorite item from the May 2022 box is this, and here's how I use it. And then show that. And that would be an example of original content for a subscription box, right?
Oh, brilliant. Love that. Yes.
Okay. And so real quick, is there like a sweet spot in timing? Like, should it be 15 seconds, 30 seconds? Like, is there a sweet spot or does it just vary?
I would actually say that varies. That's such a good question because it depends on what yeah, it does. And it depends on what your content is. If you're educating or if you're showing a tutorial, the length isn't necessarily as important. It could be the full 60 seconds. I do have a few that I'm talking to the camera. I'm just talking and educating on something. And they usually take up the full 60 and those do really well. And then I just released another one that I'm actually testing to see how well this does, but it's my own soundbite. So for other people, it's going to be a lip sync, but it's my original audio still. So it does benefit me, the majority of it. So this is a tactic that other people can do, but it is like 5 seconds, if not less, because it's just me reacting to tree cutters I had outside my window. I was filming something, and then these landscapers came out of nowhere, and I'm like, do we have to do this now? Can we wait? No? Okay. So it was in this video, and I thought it was just so stinking funny, and I might just think I'm more funny than I actually am. But I grabbed that little piece, and it's like 4 seconds long. And I'll see how it does.
Yeah.
They say that the shorter the reel, the better, because attention spans are so tiny. But it depends on the content that you're doing. So if it's educational, if it's a tutorial, or if you're saying, like what you said with the box, like my favorite item in the May box, or it all depends on the hook of it. But if you're educated, I guess it just really depends. So if it's short and sweet, it's great. If you're educating and you can capture their attention, I think you should still be good there too.
Yeah. So like the hook, but also like the value. And it's
Yeah.
about not just rambling on, like actually giving
Right.
them something like meaty, you know?
Yes. Yes. Have that hook right at the beginning. So when somebody's scrolling by, it makes them stop. It's,
Mhm.
you have to see this item that I got in my box this month. Like,
Oh
whoa,
yeah.
yeah, okay, I want to see it. Yes.
We
Be like, can
did.
you believe this came in my box? Or can you believe that this is like out there? You need this tech item in your life. Like if you're making it really exciting, or it's like, you have to have this, or stop your scroll, you're not going to believe this.
Uh-huh.
You have to get them to stop. What would make you stop? Think about that. And then there you go. There's your hook.
So one time we did a reel for a with a spoiler alert, and it was
Oh,
just plain at the beginning, like just plain, probably a pink background, and it had text that said, "Keep watching for a sneak peek" or "Keep watching for a spoiler." And I think at
yeah,
like second, like 10 or 15, we had an image of the book that was going to be in the next month's box. And so that's another example of,
totally.
a really easy reel. I didn't have to do any video work, like face to face video
Yeah.
work. It was, just text on the screen. It had music. And then at the end, it had a photo.
Yeah. Wait
Easy
for it.
peasy.
You won't
Yeah.
believe this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so
Wait for
good.
it.
Wait for it. Those always get me. I'm always like, I'm waiting.
I'm waiting.
And then if nothing happens, I am so bitter. I'm like, you just took 7 seconds out of my life. I'll never get that back. And I loathe you.
Have you seen those videos on Facebook that are meant to do that? They're like, watch to the end to see this amazing birthday cake I made. And I watched one the whole way to the end, and it was a disaster. And I was so angry because it was a trick. Like at the
Yep.
end, the
I
cake was
fell for that one.
yeah. You did too?
I was
Okay.
like, when does this get better? Does it get better?
Yes.
It's not getting better. I'm getting to the end of the video. What's happening? Are you joking
And then
me?
I'd like fast forward through it, and I'm like, come on. I don't know what is going on with that trend. Like people trying to trick you.
It's clickbait.
It's
I mean,
clickbait. Yeah,
people would do
totally.
it. People still do it to this day. I mean, you see these like crazy headlines in, and not even in the news, but like these gossip
It's
columns and
fake.
these, yeah, it's clickbait. They
Yeah.
do it on YouTube with their thumbnails. So
Hmm.
they're like, can you believe we did this? And it's like they literally went into Target with slippers. Like it's not anything profound. You're like, are you kidding? Okay,
I
fine.
know.
It wasn't
Okay,
even
I
profound.
digress. Let's get back to
Yes,
Instagram
but
here. Okay, so
yes.
a lot of people listening, they're going to want to try this out. So let's talk
Mhm.
about. You mentioned to me previously that you want to share the three biggest mistakes to avoid when doing reels. So let's dive
Yeah.
into that and then give us some like first steps.
Yeah. Okay. So the three mistakes are more so three things that you just want to make sure you have ready to go. So this is a part of the tips to just maximize and make your reel work for you at the best it can be. So definitely always want to add captions especially if you're talking. Always want to add captions because over 75% of the users on Instagram are listening without the sound.
Mhm.
And you also want to be inclusive of those that are hearing impaired. And that's really important too.
Sure.
But just make sure that you have captions because people also are impatient. It just will maximize your visibility and the watch time. So make sure you have those captions, whether you type them out or the auto captions. Um, I see this happen, and I'm not sure if it's on purpose or if people are trying to do something like cool with the border. But sometimes you can pinch the video so that it creates that weird border that's around it. You
Okay.
don't want to do that. You want your video to take up the whole entire screen. So you don't want to create weird borders or create a wonky something or other. What you do in stories to make it fun or
Mhm.
different. You don't want to do that in reels. You want it to take up the whole screen.
Okay. So you'd want to then record vertically on your phone if you're recording it on your phone.
Yeah, so if you are taking something that's horizontal, so maybe you were doing something for YouTube or another
Mhm.
platform, you want to make sure that the crop, if you are going to repurpose that content, which is super smart, by the way, you want to
Mhm.
make sure that that vertical crop is going to still make sense. It's not going to be like crazy blurry. It's not going to be like crazy up close of your face.
Cut.
You want to still,
You don't want
yeah,
or things cut out that are important.
right. Yes, exactly. No cutting off heads. We don't want that here. So make sure that that crop still makes sense. And then I would say that the third portion, if you're doing the talking reels, like you're coming on to say, you're not going to believe what was in my box. When you film those, take them in clips when you're doing it on the reels app, or if you're filming in the actual Instagram app itself, take them in clips. So it's not one long video, right? So take it in clips, know what you're going to say ahead of time, either practice that or have it written down in your notes so that you know the one sentence. Keep it to one sentence or maybe two at a time, but they need to go right after the other. So you don't want it to be like, you are not going to believe what was in my box. No one's going to, first of all, are you even excited about what's in your box? Because if you don't sound excited, your viewer's not going to sound excited. You don't have to get like crazy, like you're all hyped up, but you just want to make sure that that sentence is connected together. And you want to create tight edits. And what I mean by that is when you take them in clips, you want to erase any dead space. So you'll notice that between your clips, there's kind of a pause at the beginning when you start recording. Like press record, because Instagram's filming system still has that little bitty glitch that when you start recording, if you start talking right away, it'll cut off the first like millisecond. So press record for a second and then start talking. When you go back in to edit those clips, edit the beginning of the clip right to when you start opening your mouth to say the word, not it being a pause. You want each clip to go from one word to the next. So it kind of looks like you're not breathing. But what this creates is I can't look away. I don't want to miss anything, FOMO effect. And that will increase your watch time. But create it like they're going to want to watch it again because they might have missed something like, holy crap, she just did that so fast. That was so interesting. I need to watch that again.
Okay.
So I would say that those are like my best 3 things, basics of what you want to do when you're doing talking reels like that. And one little extra tidbit that I'm testing out too, and I would love for you guys to test out with me, is when you're doing original audio, you actually have the ability to rename the audio. So instead of it just saying original audio, you could either name it to be what that video is about. So when people search for it, they're going to find your video. I'm also testing out my niche. So I'm an Instagram business coach. So I've been putting in that field IG business coach. So it'll say, Mandy Emerson, Instagram business coach. So when they go to that audio page, they're going to see that at the top. So play around with it, test it, but definitely change it from original audio to something catchy that somebody would maybe search for, or maybe your niche, and see what happens.
Oh, that's interesting. You'll have to keep us posted on that.
Yeah.
So I have a confession to make. I'm not savvy in the Instagram app, but I usually record right on my phone. And then I use an app called Video Leap.
Perfect.
Video Leap allows me to do like quick edits on the fly.
Yeah.
And one of the things I had to learn the hard way, and you probably, if you go to either of my Instagram for Sparkle Hustle Grow or Subscription Box Bootcamp, you'll probably see 1 or 2 of the reels that are blurry because I had them in the wrong aspect ratio.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? Like it was, I don't know, I did like a 4:3 or something like that. It's one of the standard settings in Video Leap. Right. So it's really easy for me now when I go in there and I go to edit a video, I just click that. But Video Leap for me is where my comfort zone is. And then I can just save it from Video Leap and then add it into the Instagram app. It's sometimes challenging if there's that lip sync function, but I don't do a ton of that type of work anyhow.
Sure.
But Video Leap, if you guys are nervous about actually recording in the Instagram app because you're afraid something's accidentally going to go live or you're going to lose it or whatever, like lose the actual footage or whatever, try Video Leap. You can just play around with it. It's been my favorite app for it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because there's a couple perks to filming outside of the Instagram app because God forbid your app crashes and then all of your work disappears. That is probably the worst thing in all the land. And that has totally happened to me before. But you can, if you're filming outside the app, you film in your camera, you can take that long video and then take it into something like Video Leap. I love to use an app called Splice, but you can take out those spaces and you can just cut them out and delete them. But the other thing about it is when you edit outside the app, you can repurpose it so much easier too, because you're not worried about watermarks. The only thing that I would encourage if you are repurposing is make sure that you're not adding text from that video leap or splice. Use the features that are native to the app that you're using. So with Instagram, use their text. With TikTok, use their text, right? So I love being able to film. I think that's a great tip too. So that you do always have that extra file, because again, God forbid you lose all your work and you're like, seriously, I just lost half a day of my content batching, which is like, oh, it's the worst. But then you can repurpose really easily. And now you're, working smarter, not harder.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have taken some good notes here and gotten some nuggets of information. I am super excited to see any reels that our listeners do. So feel free to tag us at Subscription Box Bootcamp. Yes.
So I want to go see them. I want to go see them all and give you all the love and support.
Mandy, there was one other thing I wanted to ask you, and this was kind of off the cuff. You had talked to me about is it called collaboration or partnership or something like that?
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining our box, like our listeners that own boxes, partnering reels with their vendors. So say I put in a planner of someone else's, and then it's more than just tagging them, right? It's deeper than that.
Oh, it's the collaboration feature. So I'm so glad you brought this up. This is such a fun feature to use with your vendors or, however,
giveaways.
With, giveaways, or if you're using an influencer or brand ambassador type program, this is also great too. When you are getting ready to post your reel, you've added your caption, you've, put in your location or whatever you want to do, there is an option to tag people. You want to tap that feature and it's going to open either tag or collaboration. You want to choose collaboration if you want the reel to show up on two different accounts. I do this all the time with my two accounts, the Fear Social Society, which is for my membership, and then my personal, which is the Mandy Emerson. I actually just did that today. I posted something on the FSS account, collaborated with myself, the Mandy Emerson. So it will show up on both of our profiles, giving you that much more exposure. You're getting double exposure versus just tagging someone just says, hey, you're tagged in this reel, just like you would tag somebody in a post. But this is great for more exposure. And then both of you have the reel on both of your accounts.
Yeah. And I'm imagining right now, like with Sparkle, Hustle, Grow, we have a book in every single box. And if I just reached out to the author of each book and said, we're posting this reel, do they get a notification then that says they're trying to tag? Okay. How does that work? So how do we communicate that with the other person?
Yeah. So you just want to make sure that you have a time set up that you know that it's going to go live, so that the other person can approve the request. So if you were to do a collaboration with me, you posted it on your account. So you are the sole owner of that. And then I will get a DM. It comes in the DMs right now. For, the time of when we record this episode, it's coming through your DM. So I will get a DM from Sparkle, Hustle, Grow, and it will be, they have requested that you are a collaborator on this reel. I will click review and then I'll click accept, or I can click decline. I don't think I would decline, but click accept. And then it'll show up on my profile, and both of us at the same time can be commenting and answering people. Yeah. If I were to ever want to take because you can take reels off your main grid just so they're on your reels feed. If you are the collaborator with somebody, if you were posting the reel and you were collaborating with me, if I were to take it off my feed, unfortunately, there's not a function where it just goes to my reels grid. It will take it off my grid completely. So just keep that in mind if you don't necessarily want to keep that reel on your feed for the long term, that it will take it off completely. For you having that reel, you have the ability to have it on your main grid and your reels grid, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds so cool. And that's definitely a feature that we are going to try out. So, all right. So if someone's interested in learning more about reels, where can they follow and find you?
Yes. Instagram is the name of the game. That is where I live, eat, breathe, sleep, nap, all the things. Everything's on Instagram. The Mandy Emerson is my personal account. And then the Fear Social Society is for my membership. And that's really geared towards highlighting the other members in the Fear Social Society membership. So
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. And I just want to encourage everyone that's listening to not put pressure on yourself when it comes to this.
No.
Try to have fun with it.
Yes.
Listen back to this episode if you need a refresher on some of these tactics we've been talking about, and just give it a try.
I agree. Yes. If I can say really quickly, what I would love to see from a subscription box is I want to see behind the scenes. Everybody wants to see behind the scenes. So like do a sped up video of getting the box put together, the fun stuffings. Maybe you blur out some of the things that are going in there. I mean, that might get a little techie, but show us the behind the scenes of what thoughts go into creating these boxes. Cause if you don't necessarily want to be on camera, you don't have to be. I have plenty of one-on-one clients that don't show their face at all. They're just showing like the behind the scenes of how their products are made.
Love
and
it.
They are booming. So you guys can do the exact same thing, but show them behind the scenes and then even get some of your influencers to open boxes. That's super fun. Everybody loves to open boxes. Come on. Subscription boxes, like they're everybody's love language. I don't care
Happy
who you
mail.
are. Everybody loves to get happy mail. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we'll make sure to put all those links in the show notes. So if you guys want to connect with Mandy, you will have that information. Thank you again for spending time with me and spilling the beans on all things Instagram.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next episode.